Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, we're back again, and today I have a very, very special guest on the show, man. You guys, I'm very excited about this. None other than Mikey, Two Raw Shaw. Mikey, first and foremost, man. I mean, we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about, man. First and foremost, how are you, man? Shit is going back to normal. The world is coming back to normalcy, and it looks like there's a light at the end of the tunnel in the form of a fantastic fight with you on it. But first off, I just want to know how you're doing. How's everything with you, bro?
Things are great, man. I'm honestly just really, really excited about this opportunity and what's going on, this light at the end of the tunnel. I honestly didn't know what was going to happen with me as far as fighting goes, just because of COVID. Like, of course I want to do this stuff, but it didn't seem real, or it didn't seem like it was possible, or even a reality. Like, fighting wasn't even like something that I could even consider. So I was really excited when I got that text the other day, and I'm just thankful to have this feeling again.
For sure. Well, those of you that don't know, I brought Mikey on today because it's official. FightersRep 10. We finally got a date, you guys. August 13th, Friday, the 13th, down here in Seal Beach, California. And Mikey's going to be making the drive down here into hostile territory, Mikey. And you're going to be taking on a very tough John Garcia. Now, I want to talk to you first. You were mentioning during this entire thing, you didn't know if you were going to get back to this again. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know either, man. I didn't know what was going to happen with COVID. But it looks to me like you were staying in shape the whole time, grinding the whole time. You've got your little gym and your little team going on and growing every day. Tell me a little bit about that and what kind of motivated you throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't train, I go a little crazy. This is what keeps my head on straight. So, of course, I got to continue doing that. And teaching is my passion. Seeing my guys get better and whatnot. I love that. So, that was another big downer, was not having them all competing, because that's what we do in the garage. We're a little fight team. That's the whole But regardless, me and my boys have been working, and I've stayed. It hasn't been as intense as I would be training if there was a fight scheduled, but I've been staying, in good arm's reach of a training camp, basically. So I was ready whenever the time came. I can jump in, and I'm not just starting from square one. I'm spending these next few weeks kind of just, moving and getting back to the grind, and then we'll start my camp and go hard. But yeah, I've stayed grinding. I've stayed consistent. Like I said, it wasn't anything crazy intense. Of course, when there's a fight scheduled, we get a little more strict with everything. But yeah, I'm always working.
Mikey, we've had our eyes on you, man, since the last FightersRep and since before, man. It looks like it's finally coming to fruition. We got basically a verbal agreement. We're still got to, work out the kinks and send the contracts over, but we do have a verbal agreement for you to fight John Garcia. It's a fight that I am so excited for, Mikey. It's a fight that I think the community, the striking community, is so excited for. We've been talking about this for a while. Kind of tell me your thoughts, first off, on getting that text message, letting you know that we wanted you for this fight, and also your thoughts on this fight in general, because, I mean, this fight for me is crazy. This fight is crazy for me.
Yeah, just getting the text, I mean, that little rush of emotion and the nerves and everything, like, it's been so long. I feel, it feels so good to get that, and then on top of it, it's an opponent like that. We were there at the last event, and I was keeping my eyes on that main event because I wanted to fight the guy that won it. And so, you and I had, we kind of talked a little bit, but that in my mind, I was telling my guys and everything, like, I had my eyes on the main event, and I wanted to fight one of those guys because I knew they were both, it was going to be a legit fight. It was going to be exciting. And I feel like my style. I don't go in there necessarily to put on a show for the fans. It's just what naturally happens. That's the kind of fighter that I am. It's not like I consciously I'm like, okay, I want to go in here and I'm just gonna, this is for everybody. It's like I go in there obviously because I want to keep my head on my shoulders and I like to win.
Right.
So when I go in there, I fight smart, but it's also it's always a good show. Everybody's always real excited, and it's always fun when I fight. So yeah, I plan on going to work. John is a really tough dude. I've known who he was for a while now. I know his team. I've always been like a big fan of his team. Crew Rod is dope. Their whole squad is dope. So it's nothing but respect for the team and for John and everything. He's a solid opponent, and I think it's the perfect opponent for me right now because it's been a long time since I've had a fire laid under me. Like I've fought over the last few years and whatnot, and I've had my fights, but I haven't had a fire lit under me. I haven't felt that that urgency and that it's hard to even really, I train hard regardless, but when I know that there's an extra little danger to it, it makes me even more motivated and I work even harder, and I feel like I like to have that little bit of nerves because that's going to make me first of all, it's going to drive me through training camp, and it's going to put me in a good mindset to go in there and execute.
Man, I'm so hyped about this fight, Mikey, because when I think of Mikey Two Raw Shaw, and kind of give me your thoughts on this, I think of a very technical guy, very solid amateur pedigree, a guy who kind of did everything he needed to do at the amateur level before just recently moving up to the pro game. I mean, you've kind of done everything that there was necessary for you to do down there. And when I think of John Garcia, I'll be honest with you, Mikey, I think of the same freaking thing, right? It's a guy with so many amateur fights, and he even mentioned on the documentary we did about him, on the All the Smoke documentary we did about him, that, he was almost forced to go up to the pro game because there was almost nothing left for him to do. He'd had so many fights in the amateur, nobody wanted to fight him. So for me, it's just the two highly skilled guys with pedigrees, and, on top of it, represented for NorCal, represented for Stockton, John Garcia representing for Inglewood, Southern California. You're coming into hostile territory, man. Kind of tell me what you think about that whole thing, everything that I just said there. Kind of give me your thoughts on all that.
Yeah, it's like it's hit it right on the head. I love so fighting in hostile territory. I mean, I've done that. That's kind of like that's always the situation for me. Especially in recent memory, I've fought it out of state a couple of times, and I fought in SoCal a couple of times. So I've been in this position before. So it's nothing new to me. It is there's that extra little I know it's going to get loud, and I know he's going to have his fans there. So it excites me. All of it excites me to work harder. And and I plan to bring my squad out there and my little army with me too. And it was the same thing for me. I was fighting amateurs, and I had ran out of it was getting hard for me to find fights. I would get booked for a fight and they'd pull out on me last minute or whatever, and it was starting to get really frustrating. So I fought a couple tournaments and then I made the move to pro. And I know that John is somebody who he's going to stick around. I know he's not somebody that I got to worry about, being wishy-washy. He's a fighter's fighter. He goes in there to scrap, and he loves this just as much as I do. So we're going to go in there and put on some fireworks.
Man, I cannot wait. And, another thing I wanted to speak on, Mikey, was every time I talk about this fight, if we just mention it in passing on Instagram, it's almost like a flood of activity. Every time we put up one of those little posts where we ask people to vote for who you think is going to win, it's a flood of activity. And I really pride myself and our promotion in making fights that people want to see and making even fights. And I really feel like this is going to be a close fight, and like you said, a dangerous fight. And you mentioned that kind of makes you get up for it. Speak to me a little bit about that. What is it about being in a fight like this that kind of maybe motivates you more than a regular fight?
I mean, well, it's like just goes back to he's got a lot of experience. So it's we both the team he comes from. I've seen he welcomes the firefight. So all those things make for I know he likes to come forward and he likes to put the pressure, and I got my own plans to counter that. But yeah, all that stuff, I got to be in shape because I know that, this could potentially be a 3-round war. And I know that he's been in there, and I saw his last fight, and I know he's dangerous, and he can, kicks hard, punches hard, puts some pressure. So I'm just really motivated to take advantage of my time and, just cross my T's, dot my I's, take no shortcuts. When I'm fighting a guy that I know I have a lot more experience than, or I just don't feel like, and I don't even say that to be arrogant. It's just when I have a lot more experience than a guy that, is coming up or whatever, and we're matched up to fight, it doesn't light the fire under me the same way that a veteran, who is coming off a big win and we're in the professional ranks. It's a whole new game for me now, a whole new start. So all those things kind of play a part in why I'm so driven right now. I want to be a professional champion. That's my goal. And I've like I smashed so many of my goals and dreams as an amateur, and like being a champion and all those things were like huge to me. And once I accomplished them, and it's kind of dumb, but I didn't feel as motivated, to train or to, and I would always be in the gym, and I would be working, and I would feel like I was, doing the most, but I feel like I wasn't necessarily always 100% there mentally, or I was kind of just like wanted to get in and then get out and get the workouts done with. And, COVID gave me a lot of time to reflect on all that stuff. And then it's like, you want the fights back. And now that it's here, I feel that much more thankful. And then on top of that, I'm fighting a guy like John who drives me that much more. And all those things coming together, I feel like is going to make me a very dangerous fighter come August 13th. So yeah, all that stuff, plays a part in why I just want to work so damn hard for this and why I'm so up for it.
For sure, Mikey. In his last fight for us, FightersRep 9, it was back in February of 2020. He fought a tough guy, Milton Arguello, walked him down, broke him down. How do you think John Garcia's style kind of matches up with yours?
I think, I really don't want to give away too much, right. And I honestly, I don't even have I'm just, when I fight, I mean, there's like a plan A, plan B, plan C, but really it just kind of like, we have, stuff we're going to strategize for the fight. And then I just kind of let it play as we're in there, so can you ask me the question one more time?
Yeah,
sorry.
no, so good. I was just asking how you felt that your styles kind of match up. Because it looked to me, I mean, my understanding is he doesn't always fight that way, but it looked to me in his last fight, he was very much seek and destroy, kind of walked his opponent down.
Yeah, and then, you can watch my past fights, and I used to, be a lot more of a counter fighter and use a lot more angles, and I would almost fight more so to just win, and, not necessarily, at a certain point, I just started coasting through fights, and then, after I took a couple losses fighting that way, being to, close decisions and stuff like that, I realized that I had to fight with a little more of a, killer instinct. And then, through the years, working with my boxing coach, C, and kind of bouncing around and changing my training up, I became more of an aggressive fighter. Like my last fight, I was countering and whatnot, but I was also closing the gap and putting a lot of pressure and putting that guy backwards. So I feel like, I think John has a lot of tools just as well as I do. I just think that I have I just feel like I have a little bit more, and I feel like I have the ability to counter a lot of his strong suits. But, we got to see once we get in there. John, like I said, he puts a strong pace on like he did on his last opponent. And I think, with my angles and also my forward movement and, the way John cuts off the ring and the way, so it's going to be, who knows? It's going to be a tornado in there. It's kickboxing rules. We're going to be throwing down. I mean, I'm not shying away from a fight. I'm coming, I'm looking to finish, and I'm sure he is too. So, I think our styles are gonna match up perfectly for a really exciting fight.
I love it, Mikey. And you mentioned the kickboxing rules. I mean, you are a champion. You are a champ under the IKF as an amateur. You did a lot there, but this rule set. What do you kind of think of this rule set that we've got here at Fighters Rep? No clinch really with two hands. It's basically boxing. You can clinch with one hand as long as you're working. It's basically boxing with kicks and knees. How do you kind of feel about that rule set?
I always wanted to kickbox, like fighting on like shows like Glory and stuff like that. Like when I was coming up, like it was something I was, like the biggest dreams of mine. And I've always felt like I had more of a style for kickboxing. Over the last few fights, I started like taking advantage of clinch more, and honestly, clinching, I feel like I'm pretty dangerous there. So once I realized that, I started taking advantage of it, and it was working. But I have really been wanting to show off my hands. I work really hard on my boxing, and I've been working really hard on that for the last few years, especially with my coach, C. So, I'm excited, and I've been wanting to fight boxing. So why not do kickboxing? I like to throw kicks and knees and all this stuff, and now I get to let my hands go a little more, and I can fight in that inside pocket and don't have to worry about, someone tying me up or whatever. So I'm really excited to test myself in the new rule set. And, it just makes for a little more of a banger. There's no, you can clinch up. And that's another thing, too, is like my guy that fought on the last show, a lot of the stuff that we train in at my spot it works really well for kickboxing. It might not necessarily be like super Thai style, but like we'll clinch with one hand and we'll be dirty boxing and we'll be punch into the body and the head, and we get we make it ugly, and we kind of gear ourselves toward like a kickboxing style almost. We do a lot of punching, and like I said, I love Muay Thai, I love the clinch and all that, but I think that I have a really good style for kickboxing too. I have a wide variety of kicks. I throw spin kicks. I don't just stick to the Thai style. So I'm excited to get a little more outside the box for this fight and show some more tools in this one. There's a lot that I haven't even had the chance to show. Like a lot of the fights that I have up there are all old. Like a lot of the stuff I don't even post or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff that I like. I've shown very minimal of what I'm capable of in the ring. And I know everybody says that, but I 100% know for a fact that there's so much more that I'm capable of than I've shown. So I'm really looking forward to this one because I feel like all those stars are aligning.
I do feel, Mikey, that you and John are going to squeeze every little bit of effort and ability out of each other, man. I think that's what's great about fights like this that are, I think, so close. And this is just going to be a fantastic fight in my opinion. By the way, Mikey, you got Brian Otto in the chat, C on the mitts in the chat, Robert Paez, Northeast Beasts, Coach Chanarith Pot. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If anybody here has a question for Mikey Shaw or any comments you guys want to make, go ahead and do it. A lot of them are saying like too raw, and they're throwing up alligators and hand signs and stuff. So you got some fans.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
So Mikey, man, I'm very excited about this fight. I think the community's very excited about this fight. John hasn't fought since February of 2020, and I think you've kind of been on the shelf even longer than that, haven't you?
Yeah, I was 3 months before his fight that I fought. So,
I see.
So it's been, we both had some time off. So that's another thing too. Like everything, I would rather fight a guy who's been on the shelf like I have rather than a guy who just got in there and then I got to come off a long layoff, So everything as far as this matchup goes, I feel like it couldn't be any more of a like just such an even matchup. Like you're saying, you like to match shows, or you like to match your fights, right, and don't just like to set up mismatches or whatnot. And I feel like you couldn't build a better fight right now as far as like our experience and our technique and all the things that you've mentioned. I think it makes for a perfect show.
I mean, Mikey, I have
So
coaches messaging me about this fight. Like, I've had multiple coaches message me about this fight. When the young guys are excited, it's one thing, but when the older heads start getting excited, I think that means something, man.
yeah, it means a lot. Honestly, like I feel and I like um first of all, it's really cool that people, care that much about me fighting, and I want to get even more into the community. Like I'm a fighter, and I kind of I stick to myself and I stick to my team. But I also really appreciate all the support I get. And even though I say I'm going into enemy territory, like I'm good in SoCal too. I got a lot of good friends and a lot of teams that I'm cool with in SoCal, and that I'm sure will be there cheering me on too. So even though it's enemy territory, I love the LA area, and I got a lot of people out there that support me as well. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, it is exciting to see, I've been getting responses off my stories all day. Some of the people that fought on the last show or that were supposed to fight on the last show are hitting me up and whatnot too. So yeah, it's cool.
What's kind of the common theme, or what are you kind of hearing about this fight? What are people kind of telling you about this fight?
Just it's a banger, like this is gonna the fire emojis, like everybody just thinks like
Yeah.
it's a scrap, it's gonna be a scrap. That's what everybody's expecting, that's what I'm expecting. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm really super thankful that you're giving me the opportunity. I've been we've been talking for a long time. I've been wanting to fight on your show for a long time. And I think you're doing all the like I've been on a lot of shows, and a lot of promoters aren't doing all the things you do to build up every guy on your show, and you're like you said, you're not matching shows to like just it's not about one team or the other. You're making good fights, and I've seen that. Like I was there watching a bunch of them last time, and a lot of amateur shows that I've been to, it's like and professional shows, guys were just getting thrown in there, and it looks like it's a dude who's off the street against like a guy from like the top gym, and it's just I don't know, it's a bad representation of the sport. So yeah, I appreciate what you're doing for kickboxing and like just the interviews and everything. I think it's really cool, because like somebody's got to get our voices out there to be heard, and so people can jump on board and,
Right.
and love us or hate us, and build a fan base
Right.
and everything, because nobody's doing that with kickboxing. Like MMA has every media outlet wants to talk to the pro MMA guys, but the kickboxers, like I go on YouTube and I want to listen to my favorite kickboxers talk or watch them train, and you don't really see a lot of that. So, I want to be one of those guys that are, that people can latch onto and, get excited about, and, I want to be able to give back to the fans and whatnot too. So, it starts here. I want to know as a pro, you're giving me the opportunity to fight and to get my voice out there. And, I'm thankful for that, and I'm excited to do work. I know I'm talking in circles too.
No,
Sorry.
man, listen, we're thankful. We're thankful to have you. I feel exactly the same way you do. That's the reason I do all of this. I kind of want to get you guys out there. I want people to at least have the chance to either relate to you or not relate to you, but they're gonna relate to somebody on the show. You know what I mean? They're gonna latch on, like you said, to somebody. And I stay believing that we have the best strikers in the world right here in California. I mean, a bunch of the best fighters in the world, period, are here. And it's just, I feel like it's my job to put you guys out there and show the world how hard you guys are working,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we all appreciate it. I mean, I know I can speak for a bunch of fighters because I see the response that you're always getting. You're a real dude, not just a promoter. So it shows through all of it. So we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Mikey. Guys, if this is your first time joining us, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Like this video so we can help the YouTube algorithm push it out a little bit. And be sure to follow Mikey 2 Raw Shaw on Instagram at 2 Raw Shaw. Am I right, Mikey?
Yes, sir. TOORAWSHAW.
Mikey, is there anything else you want to say, about this fight, about the camp? Any sponsors you want to shout out? Anything else?
Um, I just want to say thank you to C. I know you're watching, buddy, for all his help and setting up everything, and all my guys at RSA, my little gym. Um, Beast Coast, my glove sponsor. All you guys out there, hit my dude up. And yeah, John, I'll see you August 13th. Let's put on a good show, buddy. I'm excited to meet you in the center and throw down.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, Mikey Two Raw Show. Mikey, man, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time, and we'll continue.
Yes, sir.
We'll continue to discuss and build, man, as this thing continues to move along.
Sounds like a plan.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you
Talk to you
guys for
soon.
tuning in. Be sure to follow Mikey, man, at Two Raw Show, and check out our sponsor at Nueva Real Estate on Instagram. Follow us as well on Instagram at social media at FightersRep. And before I let you guys go, remember, if you can't make it to the show, the tickets will be on sale at FightersRep.com very soon. But if you can't make it, you could always join the channel. It's just $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. Join the channel. Hit that join button. You'll be able to watch the live stream. Mikey versus John Garcia. We're planning several other fights as well. Mikey, we've got at least 5 pro fights on this card that are absolutely ridiculous. We're talking UFC veterans, Bellator veterans, guys that have fought for glory. So it's going to be a fantastic card.
Nice.
And I'm very excited to have you on it. And that's all, Knuckleheads. Thank you so much for joining us.